Elizabeth Mellon, and for my first film, I did a tutorial on how to do a back handspring. And in that film, I had my roommate help me in the filming process, and she did each step individually on how to do the back handspring, and I drew out different steps of it to fully understand what you were actually doing in the steps.
And do you want to talk about what your favorite part of your film is?
My favorite part was actually getting the footage, because that was really fun to like fool around and like get the different shots that we needed. And yeah.
And the most challenging part?
The most challenging part was definitely getting the audio correct and not making sure the wind was messing up or the music was too loud and stuff like that.
Is there anything else that you want to mention about your first film that you found interesting or fun to do?
I found interesting that getting used to the software, because that was a new experience for me. I never used the Premiere before, but it was fun to do, and I learned a lot. So for my second film, I want to do a documentary on my heart problem, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And I find that a really interesting topic to me because it relates so much to my life. And for that, I want to get to talk with my roommate and see how she feels about like living with me as a heart problem, and maybe my mom and my sister, if they feel like they can talk a lot about it and aren't afraid of being on camera. And I might talk to one of the nurses at the wellness center and see if she has any input on it. And yeah.
Do you want to explain what your heart problem actually is?
So I have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and it is a heart disease that affects the rest of my body, and basically my brain and my heart fight against with each other, and they send different signals, and my heart speeds up too quickly, and I can pass out at any time.
Now, having that heart problem, what is mostly affected during your normal routine?
So definitely the most challenging part about living like everyday life with it would definitely be just getting used to being dizzy all the time and having to keep walking, because when you're in a crowd of people, you can't just like go off to the side and like take a minute when you're dizzy, so you have to like keep on walking and just pretend that everything's fine and you're not dizzy and you're not going to pass out. So yeah, that's definitely the most challenging part.
And you mentioned before that you do cheerleading because that's your first film was on back handsprings. So how does that impact cheerleading?
So it definitely impacts my cheerleading, because obviously I do get dizzy and my heart rate does go up a lot. And in cheerleading, it's a very high intense sport, and you do have to like continue going. You can't just stop in the middle of a routine just because your heart's acting up. Like, you just have to push through, and then if you need to die on the side of the mat, you can, and get some ice and lay down for a bit.
Now, do you have to take any medications for your heart problem?
So yes, I do have to take a lot of medications for my heart problem because it does affect a lot of different parts of my body. And if I don't take that medication, then I do have a risk of fainting more often, and the goal is to faint as less as possible. And so I do take medicine every day, so to prevent all of my problems.
Now, all the questions that I asked you are, besides the interviews with your mom, your roommate, and maybe your sister, what else do you plan on including in your film? Are you even planning on including cheerleading or anything else?
So I want to include like just like an everyday routine of me taking my medicine, I might try and reenact one of my fainting episodes, not actually doing it, but like just recording it just so people get like the actual idea of it. And I might include some of cheerleading, like so how like I would affect my running and doing the routine, just so that people can get like the actual struggle of it and see like really feel for the heart problem itself.
All right, well, I hope that turns out well, and thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you.